Greetings Conquerors, I'm Chevalier and a big welcome to Neutral Situation and Guide of Mali. Last episode was the neutral situation of Mali and how you should maximize the neutral situation. And now we're gonna talk about part 2, the expansion guide, and how you should maximize your expansion. First and foremost, because this is really chaotic region, I'm gonna talk about this. So basically the opinion map mode, which is huge amount of help. If you actually check some of my tutorials, you'll see that there are huge amount of help and how you can actually expand quite safely and choose your targets. Now, if you see here, you'll see that they're hostile to you, they rivaled you, they rivaled me, and they rivaled me. This can be done as well from here, but this allows you to see what is their opinion and see if somebody is friendly to you. At the same time, you can see who hates who basically, and you can actually check these things out. And to some degree, basically get some enemies, choose the right allies, and even more of this stuff. So right now, in the situation that I'm here right now, I recommend rivaling the smallest guys. So that'll be Jean, Mosi. So go for Jean, Mosi, and the second smallest guy is basically Machina. No, Jean, Jollof, and Mosi basically are the smallest guys, and they should be rivaled, right? Now, for the first target of attack, if you look here, you'll see that on the... Come on, man. Really trade goods, there we go. You see that lobby here has gold. This is your primary target and the first country that you're gonna fabricate a claim on. Build a fabricate a claim on lobby, fabricate a claim on Kong, and attack them and take those provinces. As for what do you want to do with this, guys, I recommend just waiting. These provinces are decently big, I would say, so it's up to you what you want to pull to do. If you want to core it, it's gonna cost you some points, it's gonna delay your admin stuff, but it's doable if you want to pull that kind of thing out. Unfortunately, they are not Sunni. Oh, they are Sunni, so just take them. But remember that if you took this, you're gonna have to actually feed those lands here and take lands from this side and feed them like this. Although again, you can actually play with two vassals, some sort of combination stuff that can be pulled off. Now, once you've taken this lands here, just go for the smallest guy, next smallest guy, so that will be Jin, that you can attack, then focus on Jollof, then Machina, then Mosi, then move your way all of this guy systematically. I mean, again, this is quite simple and this is gonna be your early game. Like, there's not much to say here, this is gonna be your early game and how you should expand. It's basically a HRE expansion type. Ally with somebody against somebody, ally with Timbuktu against Machina, attack Machina, take some lands from Machina, give one province to Timbuktu, break the alliance with Timbuktu, attack Mosi with the help of Songhai, take lands from Mosi, give one province to Songhai, break the alliance with Songhai. So you grow big and the allies grow a little bit. You grow big, your allies grow big, but you grow bigger than your allies. So your allies become targets and they become the rivals. Then you can actually advance slowly into this part here until you conquer all of this region here. Again, pretty standard stuff. Your primary targets for attack is Kong for lobby, then take this lands here, then a strategic expansion into these things here. Now, for your other primary targets of attack, well, first and foremost, move towards Benin. Benin is gonna allow you, if you have provinces here, to actually fabricate, colonize Fernando Po and colonize Sao Tome. This basically means that you're gonna be able to fabricate claims on Luango, then move into these lands here as well. That is gonna allow you to gain more lands faster. So, getting into Benin and taking lands from Benin, so you can actually colonize this, is your primary target. Secondary primary targets is Timbuktu, so you can actually get into Morocco and here on Air, so actually get into this desert here. And your fourth primary target will be to get to Gao and actually move on to these regions here. But honestly, by the time you actually get here, it's possible for you to expand like this and conquer from from this side here. Now, while you do this, again, it has to be systematically, and there's nothing much I can say about this. This is gonna take you, I would say, till the end of the mini game to conquer all of this region and also expand into this. Try to be as efficient as possible and focus on the primary points, mainly Benin. Then probably Timbuktu to move into Morocco. As you know, Morocco is a little bit problematic with the coin creation cost increase, so it's gonna be quite costly for you to move into this land here. But it's doable. See, it's doable, so I won't say it's not doable. If you look here, you have 15 states, so you're fine. You're gonna have a decent amount of states. If you look here, you'll see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are plenty of basically available states for you to just take them all under your control. So there's not gonna be a problem there. You can have plenty of states. Now, the Europeans. Basically, they are your primary enemy here. That they'll pose a problem. Most likely, Portugal will hit here. Now, what you can do is try to some degree bait them into attacking Jollof. To do this, basically just leave them, for example, Tarza here. If one guy spawns here, some guy with A, I don't remember his name, usually spawns here, you can actually leave them Cayor. Cayor is better for you to leave them simply because you'll be able to get into Bay of Arguin and perhaps moving to this lands faster from Arguin. Again, this double is gonna be a little bit closer to Rio Grande than, let's say, Saint or Cayor here. So if you can, leave them Cayor, and perhaps Portugal will attack Jollof and the remnants of Jollof and take Cayor from them, and you'll be able to basically get institutions faster. Remember that Cayor is your Senegal estuary, so you can have trade power. That is going to be even more of a motivator for Portugal to attack Jollof, but this means that you're going to lose the estuary here and the increase in trade power. So it's a double-edged sword. It's really a double-edged sword, so try to be careful and try to think about this before you pull it off. Now, after I've taken this, the Europeans are either going to move here or they're going to basically take Befanda or Sierra Leone, anything of these provinces here. This will allow you to get the states faster as well. Basically, you'll gain the points to get in states. Decent, doable, not too much to say here. Just you have to bide your time. Slowly bide your time, build your troops, build your manpower, build your armies here, build everything, build cash reserve, build huge palaces, build elite guards, whatever you want to build, but just be careful to actually have a huge amount of cash on hand for mercenaries. At the same time, you might want to have some forts around this area here as well. One in Cayor and one in Gabo, I would say. That will safeguard your if these guys want to actually move troops here, you're going to be safeguarded here against those guys. Try to get, as you can see, these guys have rivers, so they're going to have the minus for the rivers, and they're going to have, unfortunately, only Savannah. If you look here, they're only Savannah, so you're not going to gain any points from terrain, but still you might gain some from rivers. And that's going to really help you just build your army, basically. Just build your army so that you can be safe enough. If you actually have to pull back and regroup, you're going to have a buffer zone against the Europeans if they want to attack you. As for other means of expansion, before you can actually beat the crap of the Europeans, basically. This part here, basically into Luango, Congo. This means that you have to get to Benin, as I said before, and colonize Sao Tome. That will give you CBs against Luango, then slowly move into these guys, then expand. Now, more expansion. You'll have to go here to Erso, I cannot pronounce that, and just go into the Cape Verde and basically move all the way around the Cape Verde to basically these guys here, then colonize these guys and move again this part here. Move like this, and into Asia. This is part of the huge part of the late game, basically. In the late game, you just become European style colonization of these guys here, because you can afford it. Now, it's important to gain these things here simply because you gain the trade power. You're gonna get a huge amount of trade power to the point where the Ivory Coast trade node, if you actually control all of it and no Europeans are here, basically you can kill the Europeans, embargo the Europeans, anything of that sort. You're gonna gain, if you look at here, you have what, 6.1 here, you have 1.7 here. So let's say 8 with all the things that are moving around. 8 here, you're gonna have 1.5, that's 9.5, with another, what, 3.5 here, let's say. Again, 3.5, that means what, 13, Zambezi, Zanzibar, Great Lakes, a huge amount of trade power and a huge amount of cash in the Ivory Coast trade node, and that's gonna boost your trade income as well, and you're gonna have even more cash. So that is the main reason that you want to conquer these lands quite quickly. Now, expansion in here, pretty standard expansion. Claims, attacks, claims, attacks. If you look here, you'll see that these guys are fetishist. So, to some degree, the free CB from having reduced ideas is doable if you want to pull it off. If you don't want to pull it off, I mean, it's up to you, mate. The lands here are fetishist. You might want to move to fetishist if you want to have a free CB against the other guys, against the Sunnis, basically, and against the Europeans, because they have more provinces that you can attack. Again, it's up to you how you want to pull it off, although the Sunnis are better religion simply because they have better modifiers, and they also have the Unify Islam again, which is really gonna give you some stuff. I mean, the missionary strength is really huge. Tolerance of True Faith quite helpful as well, same with Tolerance of Heretics, so I recommend staying Sunni. That's my best opinion for you. Now, fighting the Europeans. This basically goes into the end of the mid game. End of the mid game, starting in the late game. Conquering all of these lands here, depending on your speed, should happen, I'll say, in 60 to 70 years, I'll say, moving all the way to Yao. By this time, you should probably also take some lands from here and move into Cape Verde as well, and take some lands from this guy as well. Basically a pincer attack on the rest of Africa. At the same time, if you're lucky enough, you should be able to have some provinces here, some colonies as well. Try to focus on colonies that you can actually push trade back to either Ivory Coast trade, also Brazil, La Plata here. If you look at the colonial and trade regions, if you see here, you have La Plata and Peru and Brazil. That is about it, because only those from those provinces you can actually push, or actually no, sorry, no part of here. So basically just La Plata and Brazil. So you can actually push to Ivory Coast trade node, then actually get more cash there. If you can move into this land, move as well, but you're not gonna gain 100 percentage from the cash there. You're still gonna gain cash, but you're not gonna gain enough cash. Although it's important to note that you might want to stop the Europeans from getting those lands. Again, you don't want to aggravate the Europeans that much unless they are really weak. If they're weak, just fuck them, go and kill them. But usually Portugal will take Cape Verde, they're gonna be allied with Castile, they're gonna be allied with England depending on the situation, and they're gonna have a huge amount of allies. So expanding into Cape Verde, into the New World really fast is not that doable. It's doable, but it's improbable, basically. Castile has to be really preoccupied. If Castile is preoccupied, go for it. I mean, you're going to be able to pull it off. If it's just Portugal, you can attack Portugal, maybe they're going to be at war with France. It's doable for you to take, let's say, Cape Verde. But again, it's not recommended, simply because you want to gain the points from institutions, from them, and they're probably going to have the Renaissance as well. So if you do this and take lands from Portugal, take this as well, and I don't know, take Algarve, try to move to Europe. But again, fighting the Europeans is really problematic. You need a huge amount of ships, and you need to have a huge amount of control over these regions here. Basically, you need to have 15 heavies, I'll say 15 heavies. That means that you're actually going to spend, what, 7.5 ducats only on heavies to maintain them. Only on heavies. to maintain the docket, which you have to some degree. I mean, you may make 12 dockets per month, let's be honest, but you're gonna have to keep your transport ships, you're gonna have to keep your trade ships as well, so it's problematic, and you're gonna need a huge fleet, which at the same time you don't have enough coastal trade nodes, basically coastal provinces, to actually gain a more naval force limit. So yeah, it's problematic, but just problematic, not impossible. But yeah, fighting Europeans should be done step by step with a huge navy and decent amount of transports, and at the same time if you have the opportunity to attack them when they're in a war, or when Portugal or Castile do not have a CB, basically a CB, when they are preoccupied with another war and you have some, let's say, huge amount of problems, either rebels or losing wars with France, or they lost wars to Aragon and they became quite small. Again, those kind of stuff. Now, this is about it. This is basically a general guide. I mean, I cannot go into details that much simply because it's chaotic. It's really chaotic, and you won't know who's gonna rival you, who's not gonna rival you. I can just give you some pointers. As for other targets of expansion into the late game, just follow the path of colonization guide to move into Malacca. Malacca should be your primary target, which is quite important for it to be your primary target, simply because you're going to be able to push more trade faster to the Zanzibar trade node, right? Then followed by Ceylon, Goa, and India. India should be left for later. Malacca is more important than India, simply because it's easier for you to push trade for the Malacca trade node. Then China, then Australia again. Hey, go into the late game, go into the huge amount of late game. But yeah, easy to play in the early game, hard to play in the late game, in the medium to late game, where you have to fight Europeans and move into Europe. This by no means means that it's impossible. I know means, but you need a decent amount of skill and experience in playing against the Europeans. So you might want to play a nation as, let's say, I don't know, Mamelukes first, Timurids, Kara, before you actually go to playing the Mali regions. Even this, guys, I recommend. You need to learn how to play against a small nation, basically, before you can actually start to playing as a nation that has a disadvantage in tech. So basically, you have to play as Savoy, Milan, Wallachia. Wallachia is actually a lot more difficult to play as than Mali. A lot more difficult, but yeah, we'll go into the, let's say, I don't know, Livonian order as well, as they are quite small. Irish miners, again, you need to learn how to play with a small nation before you can actually go into these lands here. But yeah, I'm Chevalier. This is part 2 of the nationalization and guide of Mali. I hope you enjoyed this. If you enjoyed this, consider liking, commenting, or subscribing. I really like feedback, and I'm saying this on every video. I really want to know what you think about this, and if you have recommendations as well, just post them in any of my videos. Basically, I'll just read them while you have basically the time to actually, and the space to put it. Maybe in, I don't know, year or two, I'll have 2 million subscribers. Who knows? Maybe I'll hit the big. I'll have 2 million subscribers, and I'll have 100,000 comments per page. Then I'll have to actually do a separate video for recommendations. But yeah, hopefully we'll just go there. We'll get 2 million viewers by the time I'm 80 and I have a huge beard and I have gray hair. Not what gray hair? White hair, basically. I'm half a step into a coffin. Maybe then I'll hit 2 million 2 million followers, subscribers, whatever you're going to pull it off. But yeah, I'm Chevalier. Hope you enjoyed this, guys, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.